Welcome to the Madison Miller Podcast. Today is Friday, September 4th, 2020. Today I'm going to recap yesterday's NHL, NBA, baseball, college football, and WNBA and look ahead to today and the weekend. We'll look at the current leaderboard at the Tour Championship, U.S. Open. We will recap yesterday's and today's matches and look ahead to the weekend. NASCAR, I'll make my picks for the three races and my best bet of the day. We'll start in hockey. We had 2 Game 6s last night. One of them was a great game. The other was a bit of a laugher there. At the end, the Flyers defeated the Islanders 5-4 in overtime to force a Game 7. And it was actually double overtime on a goal by Ivan Provorov. Great win for the Flyers. Game 7 will be Saturday after the Kentucky Derby on NBC. The number 3 started the game with a goal and assist, Matt Barzal. Number 2 started the game with a goal and assist, Ivan Provorov. And the number 1 started the game, and rightfully so, with 49 saves on 53 shots, Carter Hart, who is the sole reason why this is going to 7th game. The Flyers defense showed some leaks. Carter Hart made the saves, and ultimately Provorov scores to force a Game 7. Canucks over the Golden Knights 4-0 to force a Game 7. The Canucks plus 210. Won outright. The number 3 star of the game with a goal and assist, Quinn Hughes. Number 2 star of the game with a goal and assist, JT Miller. The number 1 star of the game with 48 saves on 48 shots in the shutout, Thatcher Demko, who has been unreal during this little run that he's had. Unreal. And now he gets to play tonight in the Game 7. 4 o'clock on the USA channel, the Stars against the Avalanche. The Avalanche are slight favorites over Dallas. They really have done a great job without Grubauer and without Eric Johnson. They are on their third-string goaltender. And because it's a Game 7, I'm actually going to pick a total side as well. I'm going to go with the over 6.5. It's plus 105. I just think that these teams know how to score. And both of these goalies have not been very good in this series. But for the game, I like Colorado. Minus 125. I think that Colorado should be a little bit better. More than that. So, give me Colorado, minus 125, but I'd bet on the over 6.5 in this game. 9 o'clock NBC, SN, the Canucks and the Golden Knights, Game 7. Vancouver is 2-1 as a dog. Vegas is minus 240, over under 5.5. The over's a no-brainer here for me. I think you may see some regression from Demko, and I think Vegas is going to win. I just don't see how Demko on a back-to-back could repeat that performance. I mean, I could see a world where he has 35 saves on 39 shots and Vegas wins 4-3. I think that's how it's going to play out. I think maybe Vegas is up 3-0. Vancouver rallies, but ultimately too little too late. So give me the Golden Knights here, 4-3. I like the over 5.5, but it's minus 130. If it goes up to 6, I'd still bet the over. And in Dallas, Colorado, I'm going to say that's an overtime game. I'm going to say that the Avs win 5-4 in overtime. And then tomorrow night on the big NBC, after the Kentucky Derby, the Islanders and the Flyers. Islanders minus 135 favorites. Flyers plus 115 over under 5.5. I think the Flyers are going to get it done. I picked them to win this series in 6 before the series. It feels like they have all the momentum in the world. They have the better goalie. I think Barry Trotz is the better coach here, but ultimately, I just think momentum is on the side of the Flyers right now. And I think that a big story here in this series for Philadelphia is the comeback of I'm blanking on the guy's name from the Flyers. The guy that was out for a while. The forward. Oscar Lindblom, who was battling cancer. And the fact that he's back, I could see this being a little bit of a rallying cry for the Flyers, too. I think Lindblom played well in his first game back. So I'm going to say that the Flyers get it done. I won't be surprised if this is another overtime game. I also like the over in this game as well. 5.5 plus 140. Although normally a game 7, it's normally bet the under in sports, because there's a lot of nerves from the offensive players and whatnot. And we saw in the game 7s in the NBA, they both went under. So that's my only fear about the overs not coming into fruition, because there's probably going to be nerves with both these teams and whatnot. But didn't the Kings Blackhawks game 7 from a couple years ago, in 2014, go, wasn't that like a 5-4 final? I really don't remember, but I've seen game 7 overtimes with higher totals before, and I'm going to say that the Flyers win this one. I'm going to say they win 4-3 in regulation. And I think Carter Hart makes a bunch of great saves to prevent the Islanders from winning the series. So give me Philadelphia to move on to take on the Tampa Bay Lightning. And both conference final series will be in Edmonton every other day starting Monday night. Now we'll move on to the NBA. We'll go over the results from yesterday and look ahead to today and the rest of the weekend's games. My page is having a hard time load here. Here we go. Raptors over the Celtics 104-103 on a buzzer beater 3 by OG Anunoby as the Raptors get on the board in the series. I knew the Raptors would win this game. I just felt it in my bones that this team doesn't quit. Anunoby got a great look, great pass by Kyle Lowry, and one more win, and this is an even series. Kyle Lowry, 31 points and 8 assists. Anunoby had 12 and 10 boards for Toronto as well. Kemba Walker was brilliant. 29 points to lead the Celtics. Kemba Walker's been great in this playoffs, and a lot of people were worried about him due to his injury, but hey, he's healthy, and that's a big reason why the Boston Celtics have been very good in these playoffs and have a 2-1 series lead on the Raptors. And I really think they have a chance to win this series and then potentially go to the finals and beat the Milwaukee-Miami winner too. And part of that is because of the health of Kemba Walker. That was my concern for Boston coming into the bubble and into the postseason, but Walker has silenced a lot of doubters. And let's face it, they're a miss by Anunoby away from having a 3-0 series lead. Clippers destroy the Nuggets 120-97. My best bet went to crap. Kawhi Leonard, 29 points to lead the way for the Clips. Nikola Jokic, 15 points for Denver. Denver just had a classic letdown game after the Game 7 win. That was sort of predictable. I just never accounted to that when I made the pick yesterday. 6:30 TNT tonight, Bucks Heat. Milwaukee is a 5-point favorite over the Heat. Miami obviously up in the series 2-0. They've just been awesome. Milwaukee could have won that game the other day if it wasn't for that brutal foul call on Giannis. But then again, that was a brutal foul call on Goran Dragic that allowed Chris Middleton to tie the game at the free throw line. I would make Milwaukee a 3.5 point favorite here. So I'm going to take Miami in the points again. This is something that I might come to regret. Total 223. I would go under. I think Miami's a good defensive team, so is Milwaukee. The unders have been the calling cards lately, so I feel better about the under than I do about taking the Heat getting the 5. So I'm going to go the under for this game, and I think that Milwaukee finally gets on the board in the series, and finally a big-time performance by Giannis to remind people that he's the MVP. The Lakers and the Rockets, Game 1. This is going to be a fun series. You got Dwight Howard against his former team. You got Westbrook against LeBron and Harden against LeBron and Anthony Davis in there too. And I think the Rockets were exploring an Anthony Davis trade as well as obviously the Lakers were, and the Lakers wound up getting him because they gave up the best package. So yeah. It should be a very, very fun series here between these two teams. I would make the Lakers 5-point favorites. They're favored by 6, over under 225.5. So I have a 1-point edge on the Rockets. This is so hard. I'm going to go under here too. I don't feel good about it. I just think that the Lakers are a good defensive team. I think that the Rockets actually have played some good defense their last couple games against the Thunder. So give me the under, 225.5. I actually feel pretty good about that. And in terms of a winner of the game, I'm going to say the Lakers. I think the Rockets have a letdown after the Game 7 win, similar to Denver. So give me the Lakers to win Game 1 here against the Rockets. On Saturday, 6:30 TNT, you have the Raptors and the Celtics. Toronto is favored by 1.5 points. I think this is going to be a very interesting game. Pressure's on both teams. I would make the Raptors a 4-point favorite over the Celtics. I would lay the 1.5 as my play here. I think the Raps even this up. I just think that shot is going to propel them a little bit here. I don't know if they'll win the series, but I just think that this is going to be a very competitive game. The Raptors are not quitters, as they showed last night. They're a proud team. They're the champs. I think they'll get it done again tomorrow night against the Celtics. So give me the Raptors, leaving it up at 2 apiece. And then you got the Nuggets and the Clippers Saturday, 9 o'clock on TNT. The Clippers are 9-point favorites against the Denver Nuggets. That was a resounding victory for the Clippers the other day. I think that Kawhi and Paul George were awesome in that game. I would make the Clippers about 3-point favorites. Over under 221.5. I'm going to take the over here as my play. I don't feel super about it, but I think the Nuggets are going to have a bounce-back game offensively after the letdown in Game 1. So, give me the over 221.5. I think the Nuggets will cover the 9-2. But my play here, I'm going to go over 221.5. And I'm going to say the Clippers go up 2-0. And I had Clippers in 6 as my series pick for this. And then I had Raptors in 6 over Boston, Bucks in 6 over the Heat, which doesn't look good right now. And I had the Lakers in 6 over James Harden and the Rockets. And then Sunday, 3:30 ABC, Bucks Heat. We don't know what the lines are going to be yet. I'm going to say that Milwaukee wins Game 3, and this is going to be a 2-2 series. And then 8:30 ABC, Rockets-Lakers. I'm going to say that the Rockets get a big win in primetime to even it up at 1 apiece. And then the narrative about Houston's going to change a little bit, and then the people are going to be a little panicky about the Lakers. So give me the Rockets to win Game 2, and that's going to be a 1-1 series. And then the Bucks, I think, will win tonight and on Sunday to even it up at 2 apiece. Although I won't be shocked if it's 1-1 and Miami is up 3-1 against Giannis and the Bucks. Now we'll move on to Major League Baseball. We'll go over the games for yesterday and look ahead to today's games. Pirates over the Cubs 6-2. Pirates 11-24. Chicago 22-15. Getting the win for Pittsburgh, JT Brubaker, and Alec Mills the loss for Chicago. Astros over the Rangers 8-4. Houston 21-15. Texas 13-23. Zach Greinke to win. He's 3-0. Lance Lynn the loss 4-2. Phillies over the Nationals 6-5 on a walk-off sac fly by Alec Boehm as they sweep Washington. That's impressive. Philly 18-15. They've turned their season around in a week. Washington 12-23. Getting the win, Blake Parker. He's 3-0. Sean Doolittle the loss 0-2. Mets over the Yankees 9-7 on a walk-off 2-run shot by Peter Alonso. This was, I think, really meant to be for the Mets. Tom Seaver dies on Wednesday night, and then they have this magical win, and you knew the baseball gods were on their side on Thursday. But that doesn't excuse the Yankees from what a bad loss it is on their end. We'll talk about this a little bit with Jeff Burns if we have time, as I'm going to have Burnsy on to do Kentucky Derby in a short while after I'm done with this show. Mets 17-21, Yanks 20-16, Edwin Diaz the win, Albert Abreu the loss. Angels over the Padres 2-0, Angels 13-25, San Diego 23-16, Andrew Heaney the win, Mike Clevenger the loss, Felix Pena the save. So Clevenger loses his first start as a Padre. He just couldn't get run support. Blue Jays over the Red Sox 6-2 in 10 innings on a go-ahead 3-run homer by Teoscar Hernandez. Toronto 20-16, Boston 12-26. Getting the win for Toronto was Rafael Dolis and Phillips Valdez the loss for Boston. White Sox over the Royals 11-6. The White Sox 23-15. Casey 14-24. Dylan Cease the win. Danny Duffy the loss. Dodgers over the Diamondbacks 5-1. The Dodgers 29-10. Arizona 14-24. Clayton Kershaw the win. Luke Weaver the loss. We have a lot of games today. And that's good for baseball. A lot of doubleheader games, too. A lot of these are makeup games, whether it's COVID or the postponements due to the unrest. 2 o'clock, Tigers, Twins, Matt Boyd, Randy Dobnak. 4 o'clock, Reds, Pirates, Game 1, Luis Castillo, Stephen Brault. 4 o'clock, Blue Jays, Red Sox, Game 1. Tanner Roark and Zach Godley. Nats, Braves, Game 1. Austin Voth and Tommy Malone. 5 o'clock, Yankees, Orioles, Game 1. Davy Garcia and Alex Cobb. Twins, Tigers, Game 2. We don't know who the starters are yet. 6:40, Marlins, Rays, Pablo Lopez and Josh Fleming. 7 o'clock, Pirates, Reds, Game 2. Cody Pence and Trevor Bauer. Nationals, Braves, Game 2. Will Crow and Josh Tomlin. Brewers, Indians. Corbin Burns and Carlos Carrasco. Phillies, Mets. Jake Arrieta and Rick Porcello. I would take a look at betting Philadelphia in that game, and the Mets can have a letdown after that incredible win over the Yankees. 8 o'clock, Game 2, Yanks-Orioles. Jorge Lopez for Baltimore, and we don't know who's going for the Yankees. White Sox-Royals. Dane Dunning and Brady Singer. Cardinals-Cubs. Jack Flaherty and Yu Darvish. 9 o'clock, Astros-Angels. Lance McCullers Jr. and Dylan Bundy. Rangers-Mariners. Kyle Cody and Yasei Kikuchi. 9:40, Dodgers hosting the almost said the Padres. The Rockies. That would have been fun if it was the Padres. Antonio Senzatella and Dustin May. Padres Athletics. That's a good game. This could be, dare I say, a World Series preview. I love this match. Zach Davies and Jesus Luzardo. And then 9:45, Diamondbacks Giants. Taylor Clark and Tyler Anderson. And then the rest of the weekend, Fox Sports 1 Padres Athletics. For Saturday, Sean Manaea. I think Paddock's due for a good start, and I think he'll get one here. I'm going to go with the Padres over the A's on Saturday on Fox Sports 1. 5 o'clock, doubleheader, Game 1, Cardinals-Cubs. Adam Wainwright for St. Louis. We don't know who's going for the Cubs. 6:40, Marlins-Rays. Sandy Alcantara and Blake Snell. White Sox-Royals at 7, Lucas Giolito and Chris Bubick. Reds-Pirates, Anthony DeSclafani and Trevor Williams. Angels hosting the Astros, Game 1 doubleheader. We don't know who's pitching. Nats-Braves, Eric Feed and Max Fried. Brewers-Indians, Brandon Woodruff and Aaron Savali. Tigers-Twins, Tariq Skubal and Kenta Maeda. Phillies-Mets, Spencer Howard and Seth Lugo. Blue Jays-Red Sox at 7:30, Chase Anderson, and we don't know who's going for Boston. Yanks-Orioles, Garrett Cole and Keegan Aiken. Game 2, 8:15, Cubs-Cardinals. Cubs undecided, Dakota Hudson for the Cards. 9 o'clock, Rockies-Dodgers, German Marquez and Tony Gonsolin. Rangers-Mariners, Kyle Gibson and Justice Sheffield. 9:15, Arizona Diamondbacks and the San Francisco Giants. Madison Bumgarner against Trevor Cahill. So Bumgarner's first game off the injured list, back to San Francisco. That's a great storyline there. Wow. And 10 o'clock, Angels-Astros, Griffin Canning, and we don't know who's going for Houston. Sunday, 1 o'clock, ESPN2, Brewers-Indians. Brett Anderson, Shane Bieber. Indians are winning the game. Shane Bieber's going for the Cy Young, no doubt about it. Yanks-Orioles, Masahiro Tanaka and Asher Wojciechowski. Nats-Braves, Patrick Corbin and Ian Anderson. Phils-Mets, Aaron Nola and Jacob deGrom. Marlins-Rays, Trevor Rogers and Tyler Glasnow. 1:30, Blue Jays-Red Sox. We don't know who's going for Toronto, and Ryan Weber's going for Boston. Reds-Pirates, Sonny Gray and Chad Cole. 2 o'clock, White Sox-Royals, Dallas Keuchel and Brad Keller. Tigers-Twins, Casey Mize and Rich Hill. 4 o'clock, Diamondbacks-Giants, Alex Young and Johnny Cueto. Astros-Angels, Framber Valdez and Jaime Barria. Padres-Athletics, Garrett Richards and Mike Fiers. Rangers-Mariners, Jordan Lyles and Justin Dunn. 7 o'clock, ESPN, Sunday Night Baseball, Cardinals-Cubs, Kwang Hyun Kim and John Lester. Tough call here. I'm going to go with the Cards only because John Lester's regression, I think, has been alarming since the start of the season. So give me the Cards on Sunday Night Baseball, as they're probably going to be underdogs against the Cubs and John Lester. And then 10 o'clock, a rare 7 p.m. night game in Pacific time for the Dodgers on a Sunday night. We don't know who's going for Colorado, and Julio Urias is going for the Dodgers. Now we'll move on to college football. Yes, college football. We had 2 games last night in the FBS. We'll recap them and look ahead to the weekend. UAB over Central Arkansas, 45-35. I was right about Central Arkansas covering. UAB's 1-0, Arkansas 1-1. Tyler Johnston, the quarterback of UAB, 17-25, 143 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick. And the quarterback for Arkansas, Central Arkansas, Braylon Smith, 25-46, 193 yards, 3 touchdowns, and an interception. South Alabama upsets Southern Miss 32-21. South Alabama 1-0. Southern Miss 0-1. Desmond Trotter, 16-27, 299 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 2 picks. Jack Abraham, 22-32, 314 yards. We have a couple games on Saturday, 1 o'clock on ESPN. You have Eastern Kentucky against Marshall. Eastern Kentucky is a team that I believe is from the OVC conference. The Colonials. They are not ranked in the FCS polls. They actually have to play Central Arkansas twice. So, that's not really ideal. Meanwhile, Marshall, I think, is going to be one of the better teams in Conference USA this year. Obviously, we saw last night Southern Miss get off to that slow start. Surprisingly, I think that this line should be about 24, and it's 24.5. So, talk about irony here. Over under 52.5. The over's hit in the first 2 games. I'm going to continue the trend here. The over. I think that Marshall is going to win that game easily. 1:30, Middle Tennessee against Army. Obviously, these two programs are looking to have bounce-back seasons this year. I would make Army about 12, and it's 3.5. I love Army laying the points against Middle Tennessee. So give me Army minus the points against Middle Tennessee. Texas State and SMU. SMU is a whopping 23.5-point favorite tomorrow. That game's on ESPN against Texas State. By the way, the Middle Tennessee Army game's on CBS Sports Network. I think Texas State is terrible. SMU, meanwhile, I think is okay. Obviously, both of these are group of 5 schools. I would make SMU favored by about 18, and it's 23.5. I just think Texas State is so bad. The over-under 69.5. I'm going to go over again here. I just think that Texas State can put up a 20. SMU could put up 50, or even it could be like 48-30. Like, that would get it done. I think that total is ridiculously high, but at the same time, I think it's a safer bet than Texas State covering the 23.5, although my numbers suggest that I should take Texas State. Next up, 7:30 ESPN 3, North Texas against Houston Baptist. Houston Baptist from the Southland Conference. As Houston Baptist this season is going to be playing, looks like 12 games, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, or 11. Close. But yeah, I think that Houston Baptist isn't that great of a team from the FCS. North Texas, meanwhile, I think could have a good season. I would make this point spread about like 18, but there's no line on FanDuel yet. Meanwhile, ESPN has it at 27.5. Over under 67.5. I'm going to go over here again. I just think overs are safe bets when it's FCS against FBS. Like, I could see this game being like 50-20, and that still wins. 8 o'clock tomorrow night on ESPN, you have Arkansas State against Memphis. This game, I think, is a little intriguing. Memphis, a good team from the AAC. I think that Arkansas State is very good as well. I would make this probably like a 10 or 11 point line. It's hard to project lines early in the season in college football, and you normally get better at it as like conference play and all that goes along. I would take Arkansas State getting to 19.5. That's a lot of points. I think Memphis will win, but I just think that Arkansas State will cover that number. 9 o'clock tomorrow, Stephen F. Austin against UTEP. UTEP is favored by 7.5. Meanwhile, Stephen F. Austin is a team that is ineligible for postseason play due to NCAA sanctions. They're not playing many games this year. They only are playing 6 games this season. I would make UTEP like 6. Like, UTEP is not good. Like, they're arguably the worst team in all of college football. Certainly the worst team in that conference. I'm going to take the Lumberjacks getting to 7.5. Do I think they're going to win? Probably not, but I just think it's a closer game. So give me Stephen F. Austin getting the points against UTEP. I just can't bet UTEP. Like, UTEP is so bad that I'm actually taking a team that is ineligible for postseason play in the FCS against them, which is crazy. Now we'll move on to the WNBA. We'll go over the games from yesterday and look ahead to the weekend. The Dream beat the Liberty 62-56. The Dream are 5-13. New York 2-15. Courtney Williams had 15 with 13 boards. Kia Nurse 12 points for the Liberty. Aces over the Sun 93-78. The Aces are 13-4. Connecticut 8-10. Aja Wilson 24 points and 4 boards. Dewana Bonner had 22 to lead UConn, or Connecticut, my bad. Mercury over the Fever 105-81. The Mercury 11-7. Indiana 5-13. Skylar Diggins-Smith 28 points and 8 assists. Kelsey Mitchell at 16 for Indiana. 3 games tonight, 7 o'clock, the Sky and the Mystics. The Lynx and the Wings play at 8, and then 10 o'clock, the Storm and the Sparks. Saturday, 4 o'clock, Sun Fever. 6 o'clock, Aces Dream. 8 o'clock, Liberty Mercury. Sunday, 4 o'clock, Wings Mystics. 6 o'clock, Storm Lynx. 8 o'clock, CBS Sports Network, the Sky and the Sparks. That's a great game. I'm going to say Chicago wins. Chicago has not played well lately, the last couple games. I think they get a big win against one of the better teams in the WNBA in the Sparks. So give me the Sky to beat the Sparks on Sunday night. Now we'll go over the current leaderboard for the Tour Championship. It's just getting underway here. It's going to be a great tournament. We'll see if DJ can get it done. Although I did pick Rory McIlroy because I just think he's due for a breakthrough here. DJ's actually in the lead at 10 under. John Rahm second at 8 under. Justin Thomas is 7 under. Webb Simpson 6 under. Colin Morikawa 5 under. Tied for 6th, Daniel Berger, Hideki Matsuyama, Harry English, Bryson DeChambeau, and Sanjay Im at 4 under. Tied for 11th with 3 under. Patrick Reed, Brendan Todd, Sebastian Munoz, Rory McIlroy, Xander Schauffele, and Mark Leishman. Tied for 17th with 2 under. Mackenzie Hughes, Tony Finau, Joaquin Niemann, Cameron Champ, Tyrell Hatton, Scotty Scheffler, and Lucas Griffin. Tied for 24th with 1 under. Abraham Answer, Kevin Kisner, he's even. Cameron Smith, Kevin Na, and Ryan Palmer. And then even and at the bottom is Victor Hovland and Billy Horschel. We'll see how this goes, and we'll obviously go over the results. It actually ends on Monday, but we'll do the leaderboard as of Monday on Monday's show, and then on Tuesday we'll recap the event itself. Now we'll move on to the U.S. Open. We're going to go over results from yesterday and today thus far and pick the weekend's results. We'll start on the men's side of things with their results. And then obviously we'll look ahead to the weekend. Second round yesterday was finished. 23-seeded Dan Evans and Courtney Mottet, actually, that match was suspended, I guess due to weather. 15-seeded Felix Auger-Aliassime over Andy Murray in 3 sets. 3-seeded Daniil Medvedev over Chris O'Connell in 3 sets. 6-seeded Matteo Berrettini over Ugo Humbert in 3 sets. Francis Tiafoe over John Millman in 5 sets. Jeffrey John Wolf over Roberto Carabas Baena in 3 sets. Martin Fucsovics upsets 14-seeded Grigor Dimitrov in 5 sets. 2-seeded Dominic Thiem over Sumit Nagal in 3 sets. Vasek Pasapil over Milos Raonic in 4 sets. Raonic, your 25 seed. Salvador Caruso over Ernesto Escobedo in 4 sets. You had Casper Ruud over Emil Ruusuvuori in 3 sets. You had Rublev over Barreri in 3 sets. Cilic over Gombos in 4. Demeanor over Gasquet in 4. Kaklavov over Kuznetsov in 3. And Bautista Agut over Kakmovic in 4. Today, thus far, going on right now is Kragnovic and Dauphin and Norrie and Davidovich Fokina. I made the picks for the 3rd round for today on yesterday's show, and now we'll look ahead to tomorrow, and we'll pick those. I'm going to go with Berrettini over Rudd, Demeanor over Karen Kaklavov, Rublev over Caruso, Bautista Agut over Pospisil, Tiafoe over Fucsovics, Medvedev over Wolf, and Cilic over Thiem. Women's side, we'll go over the results from yesterday and go over what's going on today, and then we'll pick Saturdays. Mertens and Sobrias Tormo suspended. Azarenka over Sablanka in 2 sets. That was an impressive upset. Serena over Gasparyan in 2. Keys over Bolsova Zadnov in 2. Stevens over Gorstova in 2. Cornet over Bonaventure in 2. Cirstea over Konta in 3. Muchova over Kalinskaya in 2. Kenin over Fernandez in 2. Sakari over Pera in 3. Muguruza over Prinkova in 2. Vecik over Tig in 2. Jabeur over Kanepi in 2. And Anisimova over Scott in 3. Kerber and Lee are underway. Osaka and Katsyuk are underway today. Sasnovic and Puntanseva underway. Vickery and Swiatek underway. McNally over Alexandrova underway. Martic over Gracheva in 2 sets. is final as of right now, and then that's it. And then tomorrow, I'm going to go with Vecek over Prinkova, Jabor over Kennan. Kennan over Jabor, my bad. Madison Keys over Cornette. Anisimova over Sakari, I'm going to go with that as my upset. Serena over Solane Stevens, and Muchova over Saresta. Now I'm going to pick the NASCAR races for the weekend. This weekend, NASCAR is going to be at Darlington for the second time this season. The Truck Series is Sunday afternoon, Xfinity Saturday afternoon, and then the Cup Series is on Sunday night. We'll start the Xfinity. We'll go over the starting lineup for Darlington for Xfinity. It's going to be an interesting race or for this weekend. So you got Justin Haley, Chase Briscoe, Harrison Burton, Austin Cindric, Ross Chase, and Riley Herbst, Michael Annett, Brandon Jones, Josh Williams, Jesse Little, Ryan Sieg, Anthony Alfredo, Jeremy Clements, Noah Gragson, Daniel Hemrick, Justin Allgaier, Brandon Brown, Colby Howard, Tommy Joe Martins, Matt Snyder, Brett Moffitt, David Starr, Chad Finch, Alex Lab, Jeffrey Earnhardt, Austin Hill, BJ McClay, Joey Graf Jr., Ryan Vargas, Bailey Curry, Kyle Weatherman, Vinnie Miller, Matt Mills, Cody Vanderwall, Dexter Bean, Stephen Licht, and Denny Hamlin's racing in the Xfinity race this weekend in Darlington. When was the last time Denny Hamlin raced Xfinity? I don't remember. That's a fun storyline, and I'm sure he's probably the betting favorite to win that race. But I'm not picking Denny Hamlin. It's the Xfinity. I know he's probably going to be favored. And he's minus 125. In terms of a pick, I'm going to go with Harrison Burton, 16-1. I think that's crazy that he's this good of a number. I think that he should be more like 10-1 or plus 1050. So I'm going to go Harrison Burton to win the Xfinity race on Saturday afternoon. Now we'll do the Truck Series starting lineup at Darlington on Sunday afternoon. It's rare that the trucks are getting the Sunday afternoon. They normally are Friday night or Saturday afternoon, but because of this COVID situation, NASCAR's schedule has been different this year. Brett Moffitt, Sheldon Creed, Austin Hill, Zane Smith, Ben Rhodes, Raphael Lesser, Grant Effinger, Stuart Friesen, Tyler Ankrum, Matt Crafton, Tanner Gray, Ty Majeski, Derek Krause, Chandler Smith, Todd Gilliland, Sandy Bone, Christian X, Tate Fogelman, Jordan Anderson, Greg Biffle. Greg Biffle! When was the last time he raced? That's funny, man. Greg Biffle. Talk about a former Sprint Cup driver or Cup Series driver that hasn't been heard from in a long time. That's funny. Timmy Hill, Clay Greenfield, Johnny Sauter, Austin Wainsfeld, Spencer Boyd, Trevor Bain, Bryant Barnhill, Dawson Cram, Bailey Curry, Josh Rumi, Jennifer Jo Cobb, Norm Benning, Cody Rohrbach, and David Reagan. The favorite to win this race is Austin Hill plus 450. Biffle, by the way, is 6-1. What a story that would be if he'd win this race. I don't think he's going to win, though. I'm going to go with Grant Effinger at 18-1. I think that's another good number. I thought about Sauter, but I picked him last week. But I'm going to go with Effinger this week, 18-1, and he is starting in 7th. So give me Grant Effinger at 18-1 to win the Truck Series on Sunday afternoon. And last but not least, the Cup Series, Sunday night in Darlington. Chase Elliott will be at the top. Then you got Denny Hamlin, William Byron, Alex Bowman, Brad Keselowski, Martin Truex Jr., Ryan Blaney, Kevin Harvick, Clint Bowyer, Eric Almirola, Matt DiBenedetto, Austin Dillon, Joey Logano, Cole Custer, Kyle Busch, Kurt Busch, Bubba Wallace, John Hunter Nemechek, Michael McDowell, Chris Buescher, Chris Bell, Jimmy Johnson, Brendan Poole, Tyler Riddick, Ty Dillon, Matt Kenseth, Corey LaJoie, Daniel Suarez, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Eric Jones, Ryan Newman, Quinn Houff, Timmy Hill, Ross Chasen, Ryan Preece, James Davison, and J.J. Yealy. And John Belicki and Joey Gates. How did I miss them? It's just ideal of me to stop at J.J. Yealy because that's normally the last driver. In terms of a pick here, I'm going to go with somebody that I think is just due. And that gentleman is Kyle Busch. He's had some good history at Darlington. I know Kevin Harvick's a monster favorite at 285. And then Denny Hamlin's like a co-monster favorite at 3-1. Kyle Busch at double-digit odds is enticing. So give me Kyle Busch 11-1 to win the Coke Out Southern 500 on Sunday night from Darlington. And last but not least, my best bet of the day brought to you by FanDuel. I am 0 for my last 2 for best bets. 2-2 on the week. I won my first 2 best bets of the week. In terms of a pick here, I'm going to go to a sport I normally don't pick for best bet. And that is the National Hockey League. I just think because of the inconsistency of these two teams as goaltenders and Colorado having their backup, I think both of these offenses have been lights out in this series. I'm going to take the over 6.5 in the Dallas-Colorado game at plus 105 as my best bet of the day. I rarely do hockey for best bet, but I think this is too good of an opportunity in a big game to pass up. And like I said, I don't like betting Game 7 overs, but normally in the Western Conference they go over more so than in the Eastern Conference. The Eastern Conference normally is when they go under, but in the West, normally they like to go over. And I think this is going to be a good game. I think it's going to be a 5-4 Colorado win in overtime. I'm calling it right now. Let's say Nathan McKinnon gets the game winner. And then we're going to be talking about McKinnon and Cal McCarr in the Conn Smythe Trophy race. So give me over 6.5 at plus money in the Stars Avalanche Game 7 this afternoon on USA Network. That's it for the show today. I'll be back on Monday recapping everything from the Labor Day weekend. Well, it's going to be on Monday. Basketball, hockey, WNBA, baseball, college football. We're going to have a super busy week next week on the show. I obviously have my wide receiver and tight end rankings still yet to do. I'm going to do that on Monday with offensive line. And then Tuesday is going to be front 7. And then cornerbacks and safeties on Wednesday. Special teams Thursday. And then the Monster Predictions show on Wednesday. It's just that so much that's going on that I'm just so behind on everything. But we'll get it through it. And I hope you guys have a fabulous holiday weekend, everyone.